Hello, blessed and beloved jewelry community. Welcome to this tutorial number 9 for 3D jewelry design with Blender 280 and beyond. My name is Damien Rohrbach. The website is ATELIER Well, as you can see, we're going to have some changes around here. We have a brand new microphone and a brand new camera. So it's not so important for this channel because the softwares are more important and what we're learning is more important, but quality does matter. And well, it's part of the channel growing, obviously, because since I started making the videos in English, the channel is growing faster and nicely faster, thanks to all of you. Thanks for all your questions, nice comments, and following up my work on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter sometimes. And well, my name is Damien Rohrbach, and this is tutorial number 9. So let's get to Blender. Alright, so in this tutorial we're going to learn two things. First, I know that many people are scared to sculpt. I know it because many of my students have told me so. And actually there are some ways to avoid sculpting, and there are many ways to avoid sculpting. And one of these ways is displacement maps. So that's the first thing. The second thing, we're going to learn how to make ellipses like ropes in woven jewelry. It's very efficient for decorations, for stones, and for the sides of some rings or some pendants. So let's get to it. All right. Let's say I'm going to create a plane right there, any size. So basically, if I want to have some high reliefs or low reliefs, I would need to go to sculpt mode there. Generally you would activate the dino topology. You would, okay, there some small number there like 2, and you can start sculpting very nicely in Blender. The sculpting is thanks to the project of Pablo de Barro getting by the day better. It was already good for me. I've been sculpting in Blender for years now, actually making some heavy sculpting. Those works are not shown very much on the internet because many are from private clients and I can't show them. So you're gonna have to believe me on that. But I'll try to show that when we're really going to get into sculpting with Blender. Okay, so that would be this. Generally, I'm very steady with the mouse. I'm going to receive my brand new Wacom tablet very soon now, I hope. Usually I don't use the tablet for sculpting, which is some kind of irony. I draw a lot on the computer, but not that much. I generally still draw on paper. So actually I brought the Wacom Paper Pro, and obviously that is going to be a huge change in my workflow. Anyway, so that's the sculpting with Dino topology activated, and actually works very good. Let me save this. Let's go to the directory video number 9 and let's save video number 9. Here we are. Okay, save. But like I said, many of you don't want to sculpt. So let's say I don't want to sculpt. So what can I do? I'm going to hide this one. Well then, if you don't want to sculpt, you're gonna have to use, and that's okay. Let's talk about real life. Let's talk about real life and vectors drawing on a computer. Nobody, I mean, no professional, nobody, no professional at all can use only one software to work. It's impossible. If you're a professional, sooner or later you are going to need other software to get things done. Maybe you need to get them done faster, cheaper, or just because some softwares have some special tools. Blender is very good for many things, but you can't do everything in Blender. So, and that's when you guys are going to have a problem. And also, well, a bit the irony of the fact that Blender is free. It's free and it's a very good software. But one day you'll have to draw. Drawing vectors is better in many cases than drawing bitmaps. Bitmaps are pixels, and sooner or later the pixel is going to show no matter how much resolution you have. And vectors are mathematics, so they scale up and down. Okay, there's a very good and also free option which is called Inkscape, the famous Inkscape. So if you don't want to buy a software, I use CorelDRAW. I've been using it for years. So obviously Corel is not cheap. It's not so expensive, but also it's not so cheap. And there are options. You can use Inkscape to draw your vectors and export your vectors. So here we go. Inkscape is free, and Inkscape is a very good alternative to CorelDRAW, to Illustrator, all these vector softwares. And then, well, CorelDRAW comes with Photo Paint, which allows us to convert vectors to bitmaps and then edit bitmaps if we need to make more artistic things and draw and make touch-ups directly inside a picture. So if you don't want to buy, obviously, basically there's two fields. One side Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, obviously. On the other side, mainly there's CorelDRAW and Photo Paint, which is part of the Corel suite. And the very good free options are, like I already said, Inkscape, and the other very famous one, GIMP. So GIMP is for photo and bitmaps, and GIMP is also free. But basically, let me go. It's funny. We get some publicity for. Okay, let's go to the main page, which is, sorry, that's the main page. That's the main page from GIMP. So GIMP is an image editor. It's free and it's very good also. So basically, free softwares are very good. The only main difference is that commercial softwares, or well, more expensive softwares, have more specific tools for professionals. So generally we can do the work faster and better using expensive softwares. And normally more expensive the software, more efficient the software. This is true in many fields, and generally in the industrial field it's very true. As some know, I do use and represent 3D design in Mexico City and in Mexico. I teach 3D design for professionals and jewelry, 3D jewelry. 3D design is really expensive, but it's very, very efficient. So you must know what you need to get done, the budget you have, but also be aware that sooner or later you'll need to get things done faster, and then that's when maybe designing with Blender in 3D won't be the best option. You must know that. I really love Blender. I design a lot using Blender. Every day I use Blender, but I can't use Blender all the time for all my projects. Okay. Now, so softwares. So basically what you need to do, so that's why I already prepared a simple example. I think I'm going to use this part of the design. So I already exported it here. This is my file. Okay. So now let's use it in Blender. So what can I do here? Let's create a new plane here. This time I'm going to change the size, let's say 6:4, and let's put the displace modifier. Okay, so nothing happens, the plane moved a bit. Now I need a texture, so let's hit new and let's go to texture. So this is the only texture. I can say displacement image if I want to track it easier maybe. Okay, so the type is already good. This is the main type, image or movie. Let's open. So I'm going to get my file. So my files are here already. Let's select this one. There's still nothing going on. We have two basic problems. We need to place the texture, and we need the plane to have enough faces to get the image working as displacement, because now my plane is just one face. It has two sides, but it's just one face. Okay, so well, generally we just go to edit mode. We hit the W key and start subdivide. So let's subdivide it not too much for now, and let's go out of edit mode with the tab key. So we can see there's already something going on. Now as we can already see something, I am going to go to edit mode and subdivide a couple of times. So now also When you start designing in 3D, you're gonna have sooner or later also a hardware problem. Your computer, the power of your computer is going to be more important than for let's say typewriting, for text, for email, for Facebook, for YouTube, or whatever activity you might have with your computer. So obviously you're going to have also to invest, to use money to get a better computer. And that is a problem. What's the problem? You're young, you're full of talent, but you don't have money. That's the normal way. That's what normally happens. Because also, if you have the money, if you're young and you have the money, and your parents are rich and all you want, you get the most powerful computer money can buy. Something funny is going to happen. You won't know the power you have in your hands because you didn't deserve it at all. Money makes things faster, and they get things faster and easier. But the problem is that money is not all. If you don't know what to do with what you have, no matter how much money you have, you'll get nothing. So understand that your problem is not a money problem. If you don't have the money because for any reason, maybe you can have, it's not just an age question. You could be older and still don't have any money. That doesn't make you irrelevant, bad, depressed, unhappy, useless, and it doesn't show the talent you have or not. You could be being rich. It's not a sign of being intelligent and having talent. Many people think that rich people are rich because they're full of talent. Well, some are. Maybe some singers, some actors, some painters, some whatever, entertainers, business people. Some people are very good at selling things. But the thing is that rich people sometimes, not all, I'm not going to generalize, I'm just showing and explaining, especially to young people, the problem about money, buying software, buying computers. Powerful computers are expensive, and it's not about stealing computers as it is as stealing software, because if you don't pay for your software, like it or not, you're stealing. It is. And stealing is never good. Never. Believe me, I've been there. When I was young, my parents had money, but my father wouldn't just buy me a computer. Had to work to get one. I had to study, so I couldn't work and make money to buy a better computer. But I liked designing in 3D so much that, well, I was doing what I could with the computer I had, vertex by vertex. I was 10, 12 years old. Even before that, when I was 5 years old, 7 years old, my father bought a ZX Spectrum, which was a British computer, an English computer, a very good computer. It had 8 colors. I learned programming things, that was also already 3D capable. So that was long ago. And piracy back then already existed, but back then programming was was cheaper, and making things on the computer were cheaper. Nowadays, if you want to really compete at a professional level, you are going to have to invest in your softwares and in your hardware. But when you can't, well, do what you can with what you have. Okay? And one of the reasons I'm showing what can be done with Blender is also to show that you don't need to steal software. I mean, using softwares that should have many softwares. You do need an official license, like Corel. Here I go there. I am a registered user, and also that's why I can make a video, because this is legit and my account can be verified that I really do have the license for this software and for all the software I used and I use. But let's be honest, that wasn't true all the time. Obviously, many years, yeah, that's now many years ago, I, like many people, obviously use software without having an official license. So I'm talking about things that I also lived, just like many of you. And then I came to Blender because also I wanted to make things straight. Using cracked software is not a good thing. It's going to harm you sooner or later in ways you can't imagine. I lived it, so I don't want to live that anymore, because the problem I started to have, well, first, I talk a lot, but I talk a lot because I teach a lot. So I must be what I teach. If what I'm teaching wouldn't be real, this wouldn't be growing at all. So that's one point. And also because I must show that it can be done without cheating and without lying, without any bad tricks, just by working and by learning, this works. You can be a 3D professional and make money using, well, almost any tool. Okay? So, well, sorry for taking sideways sometimes, but this is part also of something that make this channel different or interesting for my public, my people, because we're not just learning to use software, we're learning also a way of working, a way of learning, a way of getting better through design and through jewelry design in this present occasion. Okay, so I drew that and I'm using it as a displacement map. So I started talking about the hardware, because if I want a good resolution, I need to subdivide my plane many times, and it's going to get heavy very soon. Okay, now I have many subdivisions. Let's go to object mode, and as we can see, we're already going somewhere that you can understand why I'm teaching this. This is already pretty good. And like I said, you don't have to sculpt to get this. but you need then to draw it. I drew that in a vector software. You can use a bitmap software, it's okay. You could also draw it on a piece of paper and scan it and bring it to Blender. Okay, so just be creative. Then just follow my tutorials and you'll know how to be clever with simple things. Okay, so we have this. Actually, I like the other side to be the top. This is top, this is down view. I could just flip it, but also I can go just to the modifier again. Does the strength maybe it can be negative. Let's try it. I'm not sure. Let's go at -0.5. It does. That's pretty good. Okay, so let's check some facts about the size. 6 millimeters, 0.5 thickness. Well, actually that's not enough. Let's go at -0.85. That would be this. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now, some of you, and sometimes, in this occasion, I got the displacement map in the right place right away. That's not the normal way to go. I mean, in the sense that normally your displacement is going to be so big that you won't get something pretty, or so small that also you won't get anything pretty at all. This one came out exactly in the right place at the right moment. I was lucky in this occasion. So let me show you what happens if things go wrong. So let me try another file. So let's go to the texture. Let's go to this icon here, open image, and let's open another image, maybe this one. Okay. As you can see, this looks bad, but the position is also good. I'm too lucky with the placement. Generally, it's the placement that doesn't go well. But now let me show you a way to solve the placement problem if you get the placement problem. Okay, so I'm gonna add a cube right there. I select my plane with the modifier and the coordinates. Let's go to object and let's select the cube as coordinates. So as you can see now, the size and the placement of the cube, if I move the cube, you're gonna see that the displacement moves along. And again, you already understood how to solve the size and placement problems. Actually, I can use it also because if I want my design to multiply on my plane, I can simply use a cube and change. Let's do an SY to compress it and put the design, the pattern. Now it's going to be a pattern, and put it like here. That's pretty good. The only problem I would have is that this is too small. In real life, that's too small. Let's maybe go at 8.6. Let's make the cube bigger again with the S key. I don't know, let's go here maybe. Oh wait, let's go here. So the plane, let's make it 5 maybe, 5.5, 5.25. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's go this guy, I want 3, 8.8, 1.3. That's too small. 1.25, that's pretty good, maybe 1.33. Okay, let's say that this is good. Okay, now let's go back at 1. I know that doesn't change anything. All right, that the thickness. Let me check which one is the thickness. Let's go 525. Escape. Scale 1. Okay, it is. Okay, but here by example, the pattern is too small. If you print that and make a casting of that, the pattern is going to be too small. So I'm going to go back. This was just to show you and teach you how to solve the placement and sizing problem if you face it. So generally you would need to cube to be exactly the same size as the plane or any mesh that you have. So that's my cube. The cube doesn't have to be there. I can move it this way, and now I can hide the cube hitting the H key if I want. I get this. So as you can see, the cube now is making the placement and size of the texture for the displacement map, which was something I wanted to show because generally it fails. Okay. And if it fails, which is like I already said almost every time, you need to know how to place and size the displacement texture, because don't try to change anything else, the mapping, all of that. In this occasion, you can do some things for placements and sizes from the texture parameters, but don't do it. Well, for beginners, just don't do it. It's going to trash your texture for sure. All right, so we're done with that. That's a displacement. So now let's make a design with that. Like I was saying, that's the first part. The first part is about displacements and people who don't want to sculpt. So this is a way to do that. Something I could change. Let me show you. Let's say this is my image. That's exactly the image I use and export as a PNG. It could be a JPEG or BMP or AXR also. But let's say, let me copy this one. I'm going to let's go to the bitmap here. Actually, there are two bitmaps inside there. Let's make them softer. That's just what I want. So let's make them because let's say my pattern there is too sharp and I don't like it like that. So I can go to my software there and make it softer here, and this one also, let's make it softer. Gaussian blur, so this one is blurred more. Let me just change the size of this guy and unblock this. Let's make it like this. All right, so now I'm going to export my image like example 2. Let's make it a very high resolution here, no transparency. There you go. Okay, now let's go back to Blender and let me change. Let's go to the texture image and let's bring the blurred. And as we can see, this is important, my edges are softer. Okay, so now maybe that's something you prefer. That's pretty nice. So in a displacement, the concept is very simple. What is black is lower and what is white is higher. So all the grayscale between that is making the levels. That's why we get this. There are new types. The new vector displacements are amazing things. But we need, actually I never tried them yet. I will try them. They're amazing. I know exactly what it is in concept. I don't know what, well actually we need a vector format. I don't even know the name of the vector format for vector displacements. But there are files that using the same concept, but also there's a new component, which is the third axis, which allows us that using one image file, but as a vector format, this, instead of being just levels in one, well, two axes, actually, also is going to take a shape, like a sphere, like anything you want, depending on the file, which is amazing. But this is a new thing. I think it was implemented last year. The concept should be way older than that, but it's starting. Well, actually in Blender it does exist. Okay, so, but I won't talk to that about now. It's more advanced anyway. Okay, so we had this. Now let's, like always, let's let's hide the cube anyway. Okay, let's bring from the front view let's make a curve circle. Let's align to the view. Let's make the radius like 9.1. That's for size number 8 American. Resolution, let's go at 80. Okay, so that's my reference. Okay, so I have this guy. Let's make a copy, even if that's going to make this. Why? Because I want to apply. Let's go to object, convert to mesh. So now the displacement modifier is gone, and this is already the mesh. If I go to edit mode, we're going to see all the faces and vertices. That's very pretty to look at. Let's go back to object mode. But now let's make a ring with this. Okay, so let's move this up there. Let's go there. Okay, let's go somewhere like here. Okay, I need a simple deform as a band. It's going to bend in okay, so here. Also, let's create a new, and this is funny, okay, mesh. So as always in Blender, when the orientation fails, create a cube. Let's create a cube. There, boom. Now the origin is going to be from my new cube right down there. Whoop, whoop. And okay, Mr. Cube, let's move up. Let's move up anywhere like here. Anyway, I don't even know. But what I need to do anyway is that the cube needs to rotate 90 degrees in some axis. Okay. So let's go in the y-axis now and z-axis. Okay, now we're good, but it's going to be minus whatever it is. Let's start at minus 45. Let's go back to the front view. So I have the circle to help me see the curvature we need. Minus 50 maybe. And also the position of the cube is going to affect the size of the bending. Okay, so let's move the cube, let's see there, we're pretty good. Okay, now I can hide this cube. Don't forget to toggle on the filter for the render and also remove what we have hidden. What's hidden should also be out of the render, or it's going to appear on your render. Okay, so I have that now. Now let's start. Let's multiply that. We already know how to do that. People, you should follow the tutorials if you don't know how to multiply something. Let's create an empty axis there, or any cube. Let's put it in the center right there. This guy is going to array from my empty. Let's try 8 times maybe. Okay, now let's do Control A, all transforms, not on the empty, on your mesh. Now let's take the empty and rotate it 45 degrees. Funny me, it's on the y-axis. 45 degrees on the y-axis for the empty. Okay. This is lovely. Okay, so now you understand why I wanted to teach you how to use displacement map, because in 3D jewelry design with Blender, it's very efficient to use displacement maps, right? Okay. But this has no thickness. So let's just create, let's go to cylinder. Let's make it radius 9.1. Okay, vertices, put some 80 vertices right there. Okay, we're good there. Now center the guy. Let's make it face toward us. Now let's go to edit mode. So from that, actually, I'm just going to, well, funny me, I don't care. Let's go to vertex mode, Alt Z, transparency, Alt A, dissect everybody. I just wanted the circle, who cares? Let's even remove the front face. Delete only face. Okay, I have a circle, that's the same. I didn't want this, the cylinder at all. Now do extrusion, E, enter, S key, and come, let's say right there. Now let's do an A, front view, let's move. The bad thing about having the camera right in front of me, it's sometimes it just hides some tools on the screen. Irony of life. Okay, let's move this right there. Let's go global, let's say minus 2.6 to be precise. Z 0, let's make an extrusion. And let's go at 2.6. Okay, this is perfect. Let's go out of edit mode, Alt C. Okay, let's go at shade smooth. Let's go normals, auto smooth, right there. Okay, on the inside, no, actually, let's put a bevel modifier just to make the edges a bit softer. You can put 3 segments, that looks prettier generally. The only bad thing is that also makes the steps showing there. That's not so cool. Let's go to smooth here. Let's put like 10 times. 25 times. No, that's 20 times. 2. No, that won't help us in this case. Let's delete that. Okay, so bevel the edges. Let's limit by angle. Okay, perfect. Limiting by angle. Solve the step showing problem. Okay, so we have a very nice ring. Okay, so that was the first part of the tutorial. I talked well, also like the second part, because I thought about legit software licenses and computers, hardware. I mean, just about concept of getting things right. Make it right, people. Don't steal software. It's like stealing hardware, basically. Just don't do it. I know that sometimes we can't avoid using those kind of softwares. I can't say what. Well, just avoid it as much as you can. It will do you good. And not just for you, also for the people you love, okay? Because doing bad things is bad for you and all the people around you, okay? Now, phase 2. So, I don't know exactly how it's called in English. Let's go to the web. Let's say woven jewelry. I think it's okay. No, actually, it's not the kind. Okay, yeah. It's this kind I'm talking about. Woven wires, but solid, not soft. Yeah, solid of this kind. There's not really. Let's see, woven wire maybe. Yeah. Okay, something like that. Yeah, this is the concept. Let's say that this is the concept of what I'm talking about, this kind, which is more Celtic. It's a more Celtic vibe, this kind of designs. It's very, I'm not part of Pinterest. Can you believe that? I just really don't care about Pinterest. Okay, but it helps me showing the woven wire jewelry, and I'm not going to make really, but in these kind of designs, it's very common to have. Okay, let's use Google. Okay, let's go to Google to translate me there. That's how do you call trenzado? Trenzado, my friend. Trenzado in English. Trenzado in English. How do you say that shit in English? Yeah, sorry. How do you say that in English? Braided. Braided wires. Okay, so how to do braided wires in Blender? Okay, that's what just for that. Braided wires. Okay. So basically, we would need this time. Yeah, we are going to need add mesh cylinder. All right, this is way too big. Let's go at 0.5. Okay, here we are. Now let's rotate my friend on the x-axis. All right, let's put it at the center. And let's wander and let's see what happens. Let's go to edit mode. Let's go top view, Alt Z transparency, Alt A, B. Now that move it very, very, very far, like global. Actually, you could calculate. Let's take the calculator right here. Ta-da. Let's say the diameter of my ring is 18.2 millimeters. Let's multiply this per pi 3 14 16 to equal 57 millimeters long around the ring. All right, so actually this is 30. I would need 50. So meaning that all above that, all above 57, I will be long enough. But let's go to 80 or whatever now. Okay, something big, something long, like that. Now let's go to the loop cut and loop cut right there. Click. But now we can already put many cuts. Let's put, I don't know, 30. Let's put 62 maybe. Let's go with 80. Okay, 80 is pretty good. So now I have this, but that's not enough. Let's go back to edit mode. Let's have a look here. Let's do an A and let's move this up here. Now let's do a shift D. Let's put it here, shift D, and just move it to the side there. So we have this. Okay, we have that. Let's go out of edit mode, Alt Z to have a solid view. Now let's put center to object just for fun. Let's center my friend right there. Okay. Now let's put a simple deform on the Z axis or whatever axis. As you can see, this is already starting to twist on the main axis, and just put, well, let's say 7,200, and we have that. We need a shade smooth. So the only problem I have is that the subdivisions I use for the loop cut is too small. But okay, now the software could freeze because I'm going to add a subdivision surface modifier and it could freeze the software. But let's go. Let's be patient also. Because I don't know, that's not bad. Okay. This is a lucky day. Okay, let's put level number 2, and voila, we have a braided wire. Okay, so this is the way I do it. Now, I like that to be around. I would like that to be the edges of my ring, obviously, because that would look very pretty. So now let's take the circle there. So that's the circle. Let's copy the circle, Shift D. So that's the ring size circle. That's the reference. Let's go and make it a bit bigger anyway. Let's put it right there. Anyway, okay, so this guy now needs a curve modifier. Poof. And the curve is the circle for the edge right there. Okay. We need to find the right deform axis. Might be whatever. Y. No. Z. Perfect. That's easy. Bam, it's done. Okay, so let's just go to the front view, and as you can see, that would be smaller than the finger size, because if the braided wire there is coming inside my finger size, it means that it's inside the finger, and that's bad. Don't do it. All right. And now, so that means that the circle, Bezier circle 01, which is the reference circle, let's make it bigger, S key, and let's make it so that the braided wire doesn't come inside the finger. So that's my edge. Oh, that's funny. What happened there? Okay. But you know, okay, okay. That's important. That's funny, because on this side it's pretty and suddenly it's not. Okay, what does that mean? The wire is too long. Okay, so it goes back over itself. I thought it would just do that, but it doesn't. You need to find the correct size. So for that, it means that this guy needs to have a new scale in some direction. Let's hide for a second the curve modifier. Okay, let's try on the y-axis. Let's just go at the 0.5 scale. I know, sorry. This direction. Okay, there. Now let's go back here. Okay. So for me, this is the correct axis. Maybe for you, it will be another axis. On my z-axis, which shouldn't be the z-axis, should be the y-axis, by the way. But anyway, it's pretty good. I need to find the exact number so that my wire perfectly closes on itself. And as you can see, we're getting closer by the minute. Let's go at 0.75. Okay, that's too much. And 0.4. No, sorry. Point what? 2. Right, let me go back at 5. So sometimes, because that happens, you can go a bit further, like me. 56. So that these wires there just come inside one another and perfectly close. Okay, that's 7, 6, 8, 6, 2. I know, sorry, let's go back 7. Well, I won't get. Okay, so it's not such a lucky. Now a bit further than maybe. Okay, let's try a third level of subdivision, by the way. It's pretty good. Okay, maybe without the overlapping. No, because the distance is not good enough. Okay, let's try also 4, 9, 4, 7. Okay, let's say that's the right number, but the angle at the end is not correct. So we can try to put, I don't know, 10 degrees more, 40 more. That's pretty good. Now let's do the overlap again. No, that's too much. 5. And that's not enough. 5, 8. What? 6 again. Okay. Oh, I don't know if because of the endings. You know what? Maybe go a little further, maybe 7. So that helps you see that if you don't find the number at first, just don't. Okay. On this side, it's pretty good. Sadly, just on one side. Too bad. Let's go back there. Okay, just find the right numbers. So as you can see, it's not so easy there. Okay, we're almost good. 25. Okay, those ones are almost perfect, but obviously we can't go with just an almost perfect. Can we? No, we can't. We want perfect. Perfect or nothing. But don't be like that, you know. Don't be like that, because or we could try. Let's try something funny. Let's try 2. Yeah, let's try 2. Okay, 1, 5. Don't be like that, because there's always another way to be perfect. See, 95. Okay. For me, this is good enough. There, the wire's making two lamps, and at the end, this part, if you 3D print that, is going to be very easy to make it clean once it's in gold or silver. Okay, just believe the jeweler inside you, you know. So that's perfect for me, because perfection must always be imperfect. That's very important. Okay, I have that. This is perfect. Just let me move it. Okay, so I have that. Let's make a Control D, enter. Let's make a copy. Let's hide the original. No, sorry. Let's hide the original. This one, convert it to mesh. Right here we are. We can move it because obviously it's touching the pattern on the inside, and I don't like that. Let me bring it just there on the side of the ring. This is perfect. So now the small perfect imperfection is right down there. So on the whatever. It's going to show on the render, but we're okay. So let's make a mirror from the ring, and that's going to be Y. Now it's going to be Z, and this is just amazing. Okay, so that's the end of part 2, which was braided wire explained in practice. Okay, now we're going to get to the render, and I went ahead a bit. I cleaned the scene in a new file, make the ring as just one mesh. So this is just convert to mesh, join everything with Control J. As always, we have a floor. As you can see, we have a small, well, the small defect there. It might show on the render, but shouldn't be a problem. Okay, I'm going to use Luxcore, OpenCL 242424. Okay, as light strategy power. So just engine path bounces quite a lot more. The noiser, it's on. Okay, now we're going to create the materials. Okay, for the floor, let's make a new material, floor. And for the ring, let's make a new material, gold. And let's call this one, I'm going to make, okay, let's go with this one. So this one, okay, let's have a look. There should be, I have no light in the scene, so let's see what shows up. But anyway, let's go to shading. Okay, the floor needs show nodes. Okay, let's create a glossy material for the floor. Just one there. Now the gold also, it's already on. Let's add a material, metal here. Let's make it a yellow gold there, here. Now let's just check the performance on who's on, who's not on. Okay, that guy's on, we're pretty good. And let's go with 6 there. And we get there. Okay. So let's go to the preview again, and everything is black, but not there. Just let me do a render image. There's a problem with the file. I think maybe there's a file, or there's a problem with one mesh. Let us wait. If some warnings, sometimes some warnings show up. Okay, so it's just a problem with the preview, which is not so cool, but doesn't matter. Okay, we have this for now. This is, with the color of the gold's pretty good. Just for some reason I can't get the preview inside the viewport. Never happened before, but let's stick to this. Okay, so the floor, let's bring a texture image, color diffuse. Let's go there. Let's bring an image of marble, this kind of marble. There we're going to put the add 2D mapping, UV, which is a standard UV, color to bump, add utils bump there. It should be good. Now for the gold also, let's take that, Control C, let's go to gold, Control V. Let's bring the bump to the bump. For the gold, let's use another file, maybe this bump there. And these come from HDR Heaven also. What I might do here, let's bring the HDRI, but let's bring another file. Maybe there's a problem. Okay, so I'm going to use one of my files. No way. I'm going to use a smaller file. That one is 8K. Normally I use 4K, but let's use a studio, a simple studio like this, maybe like this one. Okay, the render, okay, it's going on like this. We have a UV map, we need a UV map for that. Really looking pretty cute there. Okay, let's cancel the render. Okay, the floor, we need use IOR, put like a 5. Now the roughness, let's put something smaller, or 1. On the gold, I'm going to do the same, or 1. The height of the bump, let me go back to view render. So we have that. Okay, yeah, we have UV map problems on the ring. So let's take the ring, let's go to UV editing. There should be a couple of millions there, faces. Let's select everybody with the A key. And let's go to the camera view. Let's do an UV project from view bounds. Let's wait a second. So, okay. Let's select everything here and make it just a bit smaller so we don't have problems on the edges. Sometimes, as you can see, the vertices sometimes go out of the bounds. But anyway, all right. We have that. Let's go back to shading. Okay. All right. What I want to do, I want to select the ring, front view, do a Shift D. I'm going to rotate this guy 90 degrees. Here we are. Now let's move it JX somewhere there. Now let's do a JZ. Haha. That's a JZ. How do you see that? Okay, this guy is going to be. Okay, let's take the camera and move the camera here. Now the camera is too close. Let's do a 30 here. I don't know, 45, 42, 40, 40 were pretty good. Let's move it here. We might have, no, but we don't have. Let's go to view. Let me check something. Ending. Let's go something there. Okay, this guy is going to. Let's go to materials. Let's copy that and let's make some white gold. White gold here. Now this is going to get totally white. 111. In real life, it's not totally white. It's a bit grayer. But anyway, okay, we have that. Let's run a render. Okay, let's bring the render. Let's make view render. Let's bring this right here. And let's run the render image so we can get that preview right there. Sometimes the viewer preview fails. I've seen that a couple of times. Generally, when that happens, you just need to create a new file, append the images, the meshes. Sorry, bring them the meshes back in the new file, and sometimes things get corrupt in some files. Yeah, it happens even in Blender. Okay. Well, that's pretty good. Well, it's not very complex, but all right. What I don't like is the UV around. I'll say, let's escape this. If you want to see the, I removed the denoiser. Let's turn the denoiser back on here. Okay, let's do a very high contrast here, and let's turn back on. Okay, the clamping can go on now. Set the suggested value. Light strategy is okay. GPU is okay. That's okay, and just the denoiser is off. Okay, let's turn back the denoiser on. Let's turn that a bit higher. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's go to the camera. Let's take this empty as a dove. Let's go here, dove right there. We have it there. Now the camera is going to make a depth of field at 06, I guess, on the dove empty right there. We're going to bring the vignetting on. Let's add an area light from the back. Maybe it could sometimes looks good. Right, let's rotate this. R key. Let's come up there. Let's go. Let's go here. All right. Let's put it. Okay. Anyway, let's put it in power. Let's put something at 6,000. Okay, light tracing. Let's put gloss at 02. So on the preview, obviously the light is totally wrong. It's going to be, okay, there's too much light, obviously. But we're pretty close to something just nice, good enough. Okay, let's go and escape this. Just wait for the denoising. Let's just check. Here you go. In Luxcore, you need to go to the denoised pass to see the effect of the denoiser, or you might be very surprised, but in a bad way, because you turn the denoiser on, and if you're on the combined pass, the denoiser is not on that pass. You need to go to the denoised pass to see the effect of the denoiser, and the Luxcore denoiser is very good, so then you'll be happier. All right, so let's check the light levels. Okay, let's put the background at .5. Now the area light, let's put it at 2000. This should be good enough. 32 there. Let's put maybe there. All right, so the render preview is not working. Something's bad in the file, doesn't matter. Let's do the preview again here, so you can see what's going on at the same time as me. I'm just looking at my cat, because the cat is just eating just beside of me, one of my cats. Sometimes they come up on the camera. All right, let's be patient a bit. Today we need to be a bit more patient. Okay, that's pretty nice now, because we have the reflection there. Rings are looking pretty well polished. I would say they're too polished, but the shadow was pretty nice. It's a bit sharp. The lights, the reflections are pretty good. I'm going to escape again here, escape. The nice thing is that I'm going to keep this as a reference. Let's go to the noise. Okay, you can see that this is pretty nice. Let's make the window smaller if I can. Come on. Here we go. Okay, so we're gonna get this as a reference. Obviously it's going to hide, but okay. We need more bump on these guys. Let's go at 0.5. Also on the white gold, let's go at 0.5. Now the area light should be bigger because the shadow is too strong. Let's go at 4. Square, we're good. It's a bit too strong still. Let's go at 2100. Save this. What else? What else? On the roughness, we could work the one file on the roughness, but let's go again. Let's go render image here. Rendering is pretty fast, just the beginning, because we have many faces, so the pre-render is pretty heavy. It's heavier than with other designs we've done. So even just loading the window is a bit slower. I don't like it when it's slow like that. But also because there's something bogus in the scene. I don't know, when I clean it up, I don't know, something there. I went too fast, I guess. But, well, you know my tutorials anyway, they're slower than other tutorials. They're wider because I explain many other things. I did it again today. Sorry, my tutorials are always like 1 hour and a half, 2 hours long. Many people told me that they enjoy that very much because they just put it on as a show. And yeah, people from other countries, they send me emails, just call me on the phone and explain me why they love my channel so much and my tutorials so much, because sometimes like on the Friday afternoons after work, They just gather all the jewelers in the from the business there, from the jewelry, just they all gather and they put on my tutorials, you know, and they start drinking beers and eating popcorns and all of that, and just they follow my tutorials just like a movie, you know. And I find that amazing. So that's why. And also some years back, also when the tutorials were in Spanish, okay, you see that the render is all black. That's a typical just, but that's not because you need to go back to combine view, and that's all right. Because in Luxcore, the denoiser works at the end. So if you're rendering and you're, because you left it on the denoising pass, you're gonna get a black screen. And then you're going to start that the scene is bogus when it's not. My scene is bogus, but not because of that. So just go to combine. Okay, now samples, it's going pretty fast, 390, that's already pretty good. That's already really good. We can see that these areas are very noisy, even with the clamping turned on. But the ring is, the bump on the ring is looking very nice already. The shadow is smooth. The light is pretty nice, good contrast. Let's just, so I was saying, people are watching my tutorials inside businesses, jewelry businesses. Sometimes the owner joined, friends join, and they look at my jewelry tutorials, and it's amazing. Okay, and some years back I tried to, even in Spanish, back in the day, making the tutorials like 15 minutes long. You know, the normal format for a Blender tutorial is like 15-20 minutes. Or people just won't follow your tutorial. So I tried that. I said to the channel, I said to my followers, you know what? I'm going to change the format. I'm going to change the dynamic of the tutorials. And people went mad. Really mad. They told me, you know what? No, don't. Keep your format. That's your style. We really love your channel. We just really love your tutorials. I know, we know they're long, we know they're slow, we know you talk a lot, but you explain a lot, you explain things very well. You're making very creative things with Blender or 3 Design or whatever software, and just keep it like that. Your channel is amazing because of that, and you're amazing because of that, because you just don't follow the rules, and it's working. It's working. Channel is growing, and every day is growing more and more. It's still not big, you know, but for what we're doing is it's already pretty nice. Okay, we're not, I'm not making money from the channel. It's going to take a while, I think. Okay, let's go and hit escape. 800 samples is already very good for an image. Let's see the denoised version. You can see that it's very nice. Okay, so the ring on the right doesn't look so well. That's because of the depth of field. So what I can do, let me save this. Okay, let's save this here. Zero compression. I don't need the alpha channel, so let's put render 1. Let's save the render 1, hit enter here. So what I'm going to change, and then I do composition, I'm going to take my Duff focus, I'm going to put it on the other ring here, G key, boom, there, and I'm going to make another render here. Let's make another render so that the ring on the right side also appears clearer, and then I'm going to mix the images, right? That's very common. So in many tutorials I try to avoid post-production on the renders. Today I'm going to make very little post-production, which is just mixing the images in Corel. You can do that in GIMP or whatever software you like. So as we can see now, yeah, that ring looks more focused. Okay. And but that one looks pretty good. This is funny because this one is even, this one might be even because like I said, I don't like, well, I like making my renders straight to the point, so we don't need any post-production at all. That's, in many times, that's why I try to do, because I consider that the 3D artist should be able to do that and achieve that. And especially, it's especially important when you create animations, because that removes a lot of work. Because when you need to make a frame by frame post-production work on animations, believe me, it costs a lot of money because it takes a lot of time. Obviously, a lot of studios do, well, it's a common practice still nowadays, because sometimes businesses are going to use other softwares for post productions, and many are automated, you know, so it's not going to be frame by frame by hand like Disney used to draw everything old school, you know. But you might know that even nowadays, for movies, sometimes they need to clear some details frame by frame by hand. That's why the effects on high budget movies are so expensive, because that's what it costs. If you have to make it at very specific quality, you're going to need to go frame by frame, or because the effect needs it. A very good example, if you don't know that cult movie called Tron from Disney, and I'm not talking, well, the new ones, I love them too, but I mean the original Tron movie. This is an original movie. They literally painted, no, not poster, I don't care about the poster, man. I just want to see, okay, this famous image, by the way. Okay, one of these frames, that movie was one of the heaviest effects back in the day. They had to paint all the frames for the effect, frame by frame, to get that neon Tron style, which obviously made history, but that costs that hard work to get that. So when you know such things, you might understand when we're making very simple renders here, and we're not working really there. We're just, the computer is making all the work, the graphic card is making all the work, you know, the software, the math is doing all the work. We're not making much at all as artists, as people. I just modeled the ring. That ring can be modeled in a couple of minutes, and the render also take minutes to set up. That's not much work. The crazy thing is that then people applaud this too much, I think, because they think this, oh wow, this looks pretty or gorgeous, or it's amazing. But this is not a lot of work. Professionals should know more, should know better, that to get a real piece of art, it takes a lot more work and effects. Okay, let's escape this also. Let's go to denoised. And never forget to go to denoised and save the denoised image, especially in Luxcore. Now I have this one and render 2. Let's save the image. Okay, so let's go to my software. Let's go to CorelDRAW in this case. As I said, you can use Inkscape, you can use GIMP. No, I don't want any copy of security here. Alright, let me go to this file and let's bring the images just to do the entire process here. Okay, so I have that one and that one. I need to correct the very small details. Okay, so I have that one and that one. This one, I'm just going to get that guy, well, first up front. Now here, and now let's go. This guy needs transparency from right to left. There you go. And I could even, the nice part of the blurred image, okay, what I can do also is, right, I'm going to reinforce the blurred part on the white ring. So let's copy the original image. I'm going to make it more blurred, blurrier, desenfocar, Luciano. Okay, something like that, because that helps me, like it or not, hiding the defect on that side. That's blurrier here. Okay, now I'm going to put a rectangle right here. Let's go there. Now that last image is going to get transformed to BMP. Let's go at 400 so it's not too heavy. That's not too heavy. That's pretty good. Because now I can change the transparency and remove that bad blur on the other sides. Just want more blur on the right side. And let's go and put that in the frame here. Object frame, power clip frame. There we go. We are okay. We're right. We have all that. So this would be a quick. Well, I just don't like that much this version there. Let's make it. Sorry. Come on. Let's undo this. I want this guy there. Not so strong. Here, just maybe here. Okay, let's convert it again. Let me go inside this. So I was saying that this is a very simple post-production work. Let me go out to this level and let's maybe remove a bit more. No, sorry. This guy has no transparency. Let's put some transparency there again. I don't want that much blur in that background. I just want to hide a bit the, you know, that part there, which is where the braided wire didn't match perfectly. Like I said, it matched pretty well. Okay, that's what I want there. Just make it blurrier with the depth of field, and we're good because it looks legit, you know. Okay, we have that. So sometimes in the renders we do make some post-production. Like I said, I try to avoid it because it's more work and it can be avoided. All right. Okay, that's the end of tutorial number 9. I know sometimes just go that way, go the other way, and but like I said, that's the way the channel is, because I think it's important to talk what it's all around, what we're doing, not just about the tutorial using Blender, but also what's live, designing jewelry and jewelry making, and also ethical views, because it's part of your work, it's part of my work, and we need to have some standards, some ethical standards. Like I said, with the softwares, with the hardware, with all of that, because it's important. It's part of our jobs and our lives and people around us and the future, you know. So that's also as a teacher. I've been teaching for more than 16 years now, and the school has grown, and also, well, many things. I've developed many things, and the ethical side of our lives is real. Many people just say it's faith, ethic is totally useless because people lie, they cheat, they steal. Well, they make a lot of bad things. and sadly that's bad for everybody, even for them. So if we can be a bit more focused on trying to be and make things a better world, it's going to be better not just for me or for you, it's going to be better for the entire world. And okay, we're gonna die trying, because it's many times a huge illusion that we can change things, but maybe just a sand dust there can change many things. All right, so that was tutorial number 9 with Blender for jewelry design with Damien Rohrbach. Subscribe, like, share, ask. All good ideas are welcome, and the website is ATELIER.LAUSANA.design, and we'll see you next week. Take care, bye bye.